We're counting down the 10 most shocking jungle threats faced by US soldiers in Vietnam. From creatures that swarmed by the thousands and parasites you never felt until it was too late, to predators lurking in water, trees, and even inside your gear, every entry reveals how the environment itself became a relentless enemy. Which threat caused the most chaos on patrol? Let's begin with number 10. A single misstep in the jungle could unleash chaos from above. Swarming hornets and bees turned patrols into stampedes, their nests hidden in trees or buried in the ground. If disturbed, these insects attacked in waves, stinging through uniforms and ignoring helmets. Soldiers described the sensation as being caught in a living cloud of stingers, with no chance to fight back. Some men suffered severe allergic reactions, with throats closing and faces swelling, forcing emergency evacuation. Even without fatalities, a swarm could scatter a squad, break formation, and turn a quiet patrol into a scene of panic. In Vietnam, even the smallest creatures could shatter order in seconds. A sudden crash in the Canopy could freeze every man on patrol. Monkeys in Vietnam's jungles were more than background noise. They turned the treetops into a source of constant confusion. Troops reported objects raining down from above, rocks, fruit, even heavy branches sometimes dropped from 40 or 50 feet. A direct hit to the head could leave a soldier stunned or bleeding. Helmets offered little comfort. At night, the sound of monkeys leaping through branches was almost impossible to tell apart from enemy movement. Some units burned flares or braced for contact, only to spot chattering shapes overhead. Even in base camps, monkeys raided supplies, tore into rations, and scattered gear, forcing soldiers to guard their food as closely as their weapons. In the Vietnam jungle, the line between wildlife and warfare blurred with every noise from above. Centipedes in Vietnam were not just an unsettling sight. They could turn a simple routine into agony. Some grew up to 8 inches long, and veterans swore they saw even bigger ones crawling through tunnels or hiding in gear. A bite from one of these jungle centipedes felt like a red-hot nail hammered into the skin. Soldiers compared the burning pain to being shot, and the swelling could last for days. Centipedes hid in helmets, packs, and shirts, forcing men to check every piece of equipment before use. Infections set in easily in the heat and filth, sometimes sidelining a rifleman when his team needed him most. Night in the jungle offered no real escape from danger. Large spiders and scorpions claimed boots, sandbags, and even sleeping bags as their territory. Soldiers sometimes woke screaming, a spider's legs brushing their face, or a scorpion's sting lighting up a hand or foot. Even bites from non-lethal species brought swelling and pain that could bench a rifleman for days. Medics logged sting treatments and watched for infections that spread fast in the damp heat. The ritual of checking every piece of gear before sleep became second nature. For many, the threat did not end with the enemy. Every attempt at rest risked a fresh shock from the shadows. Mosquitoes in Vietnam were not just a nuisance. They were a relentless enemy, day and night. The constant humming right in your ears was a warning that never let up. Over 80,000 confirmed cases of malaria hit American forces during the war, sidelining more troops than many firefights ever did. Soldiers wrapped themselves in nets, wore long sleeves, and swallowed bitter prophylactic pills. But the jungle's mosquitoes found every gap. Some men survived ambushes only to be knocked flat by fever that left them shaking and delirious. Dengue and Japanese encephalitis struck as well, adding to the toll. The debate over malaria pills was a daily reality. Take them and risk side effects, or skip them and risk the disease, especially when supplies ran low. Each bite was a roll of the dice, and the jungle made sure there was no escape. a wild boar attack in the Vietnam jungle came without warning. Just a roar in the brush and a blur of muscle and tusk. These wild boars could weigh more than 300 pounds, and when they charged, they aimed low and fast, slamming into legs or thighs with enough force to knock a man off his feet. Razor-sharp tusks cut deep, slicing through flesh and muscle in a single pass. Medics documented wounds that opened a thigh to the bone or tore open the abdomen, injuries so severe they demanded immediate evacuation. Night patrols were especially vulnerable. A sudden crash in the darkness sometimes triggered panicked bursts of gunfire, with soldiers convinced they were under sapper attack. Friendly fire incidents were not uncommon in the chaos. Body armor offered little protection against a boar's charge. For the men on the ground, the jungle could explode into violence at any moment. And the scars left by these animals were as real as any from enemy weapons. Jungle patrols in Vietnam ended with a ritual that left no one feeling clean. Leeches clung to skin in places no one wanted to check: groin, armpits, and behind the knees, slipping past socks and uniforms without a hint of pain. Their saliva numbed the bite, but their anticoagulant kept blood running long after they dropped off, leaving raw, oozing wounds. After a day in the wet, soldiers stripped down and burned or salted dozens of leeches off their bodies, careful not to leave the head behind. Improper removal meant infection, and in the heat and filth, even a tiny wound could fester. Some men developed severe anemia from constant blood loss, feeling drained and weak before the enemy ever fired a shot. For many, the worst part was the sense of violation, realizing the jungle itself was feeding on them, drop by drop, every single day. Crossing a river in Vietnam meant stepping into the unknown. Beneath the surface, saltwater crocodiles waited, some stretching over 20 feet and weighing more than a ton. Their jaws could crush bone with more than 3,000 pounds of force. Brownwater Navy logs and infantry reports told of men vanishing in an instant, snatched by a predator no one saw coming. The water was murky, visibility only inches, but crocodiles saw perfectly, gliding silently until the moment they struck. A sudden pull from below, and the victim was gone, dragged under before anyone could react. Rescue attempts often meant firing blindly into the current, hoping to recover a body downstream. Some units tried to scare off crocodiles with grenades before crossing, but the jungle rivers always felt like a gamble. For soldiers, every crossing was a test of nerve, knowing that no weapon or training could guarantee safe passage when the enemy was older than the war itself. Venomous snakes haunted every level of the Vietnam War, from the jungle floor to the deepest tunnels. U.S. soldiers logged snakebite incidents almost daily, with some units reporting multiple cases in a single week. Cobras, pit vipers, and kraits hid in boots, under cots, and inside sandbags, anywhere warm and dark. The so-called two-stepper bamboo viper earned its name from the myth that 2 steps after a bite meant death. While that legend was exaggerated, the fear was real. The Malayan krait posed a different terror. Its bite often felt like nothing at first, but the venom crept through the body, causing paralysis while the victim stayed fully awake. Medics described watching men lose the ability to breathe, unable to move or call out, trapped in their own bodies. Tunnel rats faced a special nightmare. The Viet Cong sometimes rigged tunnels with live snakes, dropping them onto Americans crawling through pitch-black passageways. After-action reports document these booby-trapped tunnels and the desperate struggle to escape a bite in total darkness. Soldiers checked boots, shook out bedding, and scanned every step. But even the most careful could be caught off guard. For many, the possibility of a snake bite in the night inspired more dread than the enemy himself. The jungle's silence was always suspect, because the next movement might be the last thing you would ever feel. A Marine recon team found themselves stranded overnight in the jungle on December 22, 1968. Bad weather had grounded their helicopter extraction. 6 men, deep in enemy territory, tried to settle in for a tense night. 2 stood watch, while the rest attempted to sleep, weapons close at hand. In the blackness, a 400-pound Indo-Chinese tiger crept through the undergrowth, unseen and unheard. With vision tuned for night, the predator closed in. In a single, silent movement, the tiger seized one of the sleeping Marines by the neck and dragged him away before anyone could react. Gunfire erupted into the darkness, flashes lighting up the trees, but the attack was over in seconds. At dawn, the team found the mutilated remains of their comrade and the dead tiger nearby. The deep sawing roar that sometimes echoed through the jungle had become a reality, a reminder that here, men were not always the hunters. After this attack, Marine units revised their defensive routines, factoring tigers into night perimeter planning. Even the rumor of a tiger nearby could haunt a night patrol, because in Vietnam, you could not see it, but it could see you perfectly. Across all 10 threats, one truth emerges. In Vietnam, the jungle itself became an unpredictable enemy, shaping every soldier's fate. Survival demanded constant vigilance against nature as much as combat. That lesson endures. Sometimes the most relentless adversary is not human at all. Which threat shocked you most?